Hello and welcome to the Point in Progress podcast, episode 9, your one-stop shop for news, recommendations, and some spicy takes. Join 5 friends across 3 time zones and 2 countries every week as we discuss all the things we love while still thinking critically about them. I am your host today. I'm Sly. I am here with some wonderful people. But before we get to that and what's been going on, Mario, you have a shout out? What's that about?
Yes, I just quickly wanted to shout out. There is this documentary that came out earlier this week, or actually it came out March 25th. But I'm pulling it out now because I've finally seen it, and it's awesome. It's actually a documentary about girl games of Clueless, Mean Girls, and Pretty in Pink were originally going to be DS games, and basically they just disappeared. And so this person, Bob Dunga, did this awesome documentary about it, like just all on her own. And I wanted to shout it out because right now it's sitting at 23,000 views, which is pretty good. But this is really good. Like normally you'd shout out like something like a No Clip or some of these other places that do really well made documentaries. Like this is heavily researched and well done on a subject that I had no interest in and actually got me to care about it because there's a level of discovery that happens in the actual documentary. And some of our friends are in it, like Blessing is actually doing one of the voices in it. There's some other people that are doing funny voices also in the documentary. And yeah, I just want to shout it out. I'm going to leave a link on it at the description of all the videos this week. But definitely check it out. It's called the Girl Games of Lost Media. It's a documentary by Bob Dunga. So I just want to bring that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I haven't checked it out. I'll be sure to do so. Our second piece of housekeeping, I again have Dutch. One of my old students works at Dutch in the afternoon, so I got some Dutch before the podcast. So that's our weekly shout out to Dutch. That aside, let's jump into how we're doing, what we've been playing. Fee, what's going on with you?
Well, I have been playing some Magic still, not as much because I now have a newfound addiction to a game you guys may not have heard of before, but it's called Overwatch. Don't know if you guys know about it.
Never heard of this game before.
It's kind of crazy, kind of a shooter, kind of nuts, getting constantly raffle stomped consistently in the game. It's pretty great. Yeah, I'm not going to give anyone any credit for me getting this game because my wallet is crying. And that's about the amount I'm going to give towards that person, and they know who they are. They may be in this podcast. But yeah, I've been playing Overwatch, just maybe. So I've been playing that. It's actually been a lot of fun. It's been really great. And some of us are going to be in a tournament in the next couple of weeks to raise money, which is kind of awesome. And someone on this podcast could probably give more information than I can. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm now really enjoying Moira. Definitely my top character at this point.
Harv, you want to tell us about that?
One thing, I feel called out right now, just a little
It's your
bit.
fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault!
I'm not the one that bought 50 loot boxes, okay? That's not
Yeah,
me.
that's
No.
all you. The,
Yeah,
the
I
loot
didn't
box
buy-
thing is all you.
I did not buy 50 loot boxes at one time.
You tried to though.
Total?
They were sporadic over the week.
I mean,
Or 2 days.
I'm tempted to buy the 50 because you get 10 extra if you buy the 50 loot boxes. So
But yeah, so the tournament that's happening next weekend is a tournament that is going to be raising money for. Wait for it. Sorry, guys. I did not know this was going to happen. So let me give me a second. Give me a second.
I believe it's an anti-hate group, right?
Yes, it is the Stop AAPI
Okay.
charity. We're going to be raising money for the next 3 weekends for that, for the Overwatch tournament itself. But yeah, it's a lot of KFBFs in there. A lot of people that play Overwatch that we've been all playing Overwatch with. And we've been trying to do tournaments, like we did a Warzone tournament. We've done a Apex tournament, stuff like that. So we're just kind of going through the games. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But what I've been playing is the same thing. I've been playing Overwatch a lot. And the other thing that I started playing was The Witness yesterday, which was fun. It was cool. and I'm so excited to like just jump into it and do the puzzles, and I forgot how hard the puzzles were in that game. that game humbles you real quick. You're like, you know what? I could jump into this. This seems cool. This seems easy. And then right, like when you get through like an hour of it, you're like, oh my god, am I dumb? Like what?
Am I dumb?
Do I have no education? What's happening right now?
Here, Frank, this is for you. That's me right now with Loop Hero. So so I understand. I feel
So
Am I dumb?
but
Is the
but
mood.
The Witness is a great game. I shouted out last week on the podcast, and I saw a lot of people like actually commenting on it as well about how much they really, really enjoyed it, which made me so happy. So like, I know games aren't coming out very much nowadays, or they're being delayed, so it feels like we're going back to old games a little bit.
Yeah.
But if there's an old game that you like puzzles for, The Witness is an amazing game. And then other than that, it's Overwatch, and that's all I've been playing. No Sekiro this week.
Proud of you. It's a perfect time to go back to old games, I feel like, because, everything's been a little slow, but now you just get to go back and appreciate things you might have missed out on.
Yeah. Also,
Frank,
I
what
started
have
my
you been
job
doing?
today.
Oh,
Or
sorry.
this week. I started my job this week, so
Yay.
that's
Yay, congratulations.
Yay. Nice.
I'm not a bum. Anyways, to Frank.
To Frank.
Yeah, I've been playing this game. It's kind of like Overwatch. I think it's called Overwatch. Yeah, it's hero shooter. You go in there. I think it's made by Blizzard. I don't know. It's an okay game, I guess. It's kind of fun, maybe. I don't know. No, we've been playing Overwatch this week as a group, and it's been a blast. I personally don't like the game outside of an actual group setting, but yeah, it's pretty good. Mario, why are you turning me down? I literally
you're at
calibrated this microphone to
110. That's why I had to lower you down.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that's an understatement when it comes to Frank and when it comes to just randoms in our group.
Yeah, I don't like playing with random people. It is the worst in Overwatch. I think you two, Thief's starting to fucking do it too, where like you see a random and she just starts talking mad shit about the random. Like, it's just like, this fucking random sucks. This random can't heal. Like, once you get good at the game, when people are bad, you're just like, get the fuck out of here.
Okay,
Get
here's the
fuck outta
thing.
here.
It's because I'm on tank, and if I'm on tank and I main as a healer, if the healer is not doing well, I'm just like, I'm a little bit irritated because I'm currently Roadhog, and why do I have gold healing? Like, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that confuses me. However, I very much recognize the fact that I'm still a huge pleb, and I don't know, like, how to play, like, 99% of the characters. But there are certain things where I'm just, like, just shaking my head. Or if,
Yeah,
like...
you're doing a pretty good job, all things considering you've started, like a week ago,
Yeah.
technically. Like, you've played before, but it's not necessarily like you're brand new to the game either. But
Yeah.
you're doing pretty well.
I just have the same healing mentality that I have when I played World of Warcraft, which is I'm not going to chase after somebody if they're doing something stupid. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, if I see Genji on the other side of the map, I'm not going to be like, if you're calling out for heals, I can't reach you, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you decided to
can't
jump
save
up
you
in
from death.
I can't save you from death.
Yeah.
You can't save yourself from stupid, you know?
Yeah. Or I
But
can't.
with a group of people, the group of people that we've been playing with have been phenomenal. Everybody kind of has their roles and knows their job. I think one night, like Harv and a group of people, like we all did like 9 games in a row and won like 9 games in a row.
Dude,
Like,
yeah,
it was insane.
like 11. It was like 11 or 12. It had to be.
Yeah, we
It was
were.
like one of those.
Yeah.
It was one of those nights that we just played really, really well. But like, I think one of the biggest things of all of us playing Overwatch is now an Overwatch podcast. All right, this is what this is now.
Yeah. The
one of best
Overcast?
thing, it's just the Overcast.
We talk about weather in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How does the weather affect our Overwatch mood? No, it's just meeting a lot of other people that play the game has been the most exciting thing. And one of the things that Frank touched upon is like, I would not play this game if I was by myself at all.
Oh, yeah. That's why I
wouldn't
quit.
even- yeah. And having so many people play it and just enjoy it and just having like being able to do like custom games and stuff like that is just so much fun. And I'm like, I haven't been addicted to a game in a while, and I feel like this is one of them now. And I wish I got on this train a little bit sooner, but I'm glad it's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So that has been the Overcast. Thanks for listening. Mario, you have not been playing Overwatch. What have you been up to?
Yes,
He's also
Mario hasn't been talking during the Overcast. What have you been up to?
Yes, they've said everything I need to say about Overwatch, so it's totally fine. I have been playing a game, but honestly, it's the same game I've been playing for like the last week, so I'm not really gonna mention it. I have been watching a ton of movies because I got into sort of a horror movie kick in the middle of the night, and I watched 3 back to back, 3 nights in a row. So I watched a lot. So I'm just gonna go ahead, talk about the main ones that I think are the most worthy of spoken to, and maybe even be pitches down the road. But the first movie is a movie called House of the Devil, which is directed by a man named Ty West. It came out in 2009, so if you've never seen it, it's totally fine. But it is the perfect amalgamation of old 70s movies, of just the suspense. It captures like that Halloween suspense. So that's why I felt it was like really perfect. So good. In fact, I ended up just like straight up just buying it because it was that good. So I highly recommend it. It's a 90-minute movie. If you like short movies, this is perfect. I think the tension is perfectly matched up, and it has a dance number.
Oh, sold.
Yeah, it's really great. And it stars, this woman basically just needing $300 for a deposit for a house. It's great. So that's definitely a movie I really loved. Another movie I loved watching was a Japanese horror movie from 1977 called House, which is bonker billies. And this is the movie I think I can watch with Fee and Snake because of how much they love anime. This is just an anime live action horror movie, and it is incredible. Like, a piano eats a person, and then the piano plays that person's fingers on the keyboards. Like, it's that silly. It has like quick shots and them kung fuing around and like
Harv's
random
face is just
music.
like...
Every actress in the movie is a model. Like, they weren't an actor. Their character names are based on their personal attributes, like fantasy, beauty, gorgeous, professor, Mac, because she's the one that loves to eat. So they named her after her stomach. So ridiculous. There's a floating head that they think is a watermelon. It's a great movie. It's called House. We have to watch this together soon. It is fantastic. If you have HBO Max, it's on there right now. It's also in the Criterion Collection. This movie's bonker billies. I highly recommend it. Last movie, and I just watched it last night. It's probably the funniest comedy movie I've seen in a long time. It's by Kristen Wiig. It is called Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. It is the funniest movie that I was not expecting to have a random subplot in there that totally recontextualizes the whole movie. And I don't want to reveal what it is because I had no idea what it was. And it is funny as hell. It stars also the guy from 50 Shades of Grey, the guy in 50 Shades of Grey, I guess. He is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time and does some of the most wacky shit. So all I'm saying,
a horror movie or a comedy?
Yeah.
this is the one that I don't want to tell. I don't want to tell you. This is the one where I don't want to tell you if it's a horror movie or not, because things happen in it that are just absolutely also insane. But it's, I think, one of the funniest movies that it's not. There's, I will say it's not a horror movie, but there's other stuff in it that makes it a totally different movie. But it's just one of the funniest things I've watched in the last few years. I think since Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids also made me chuckle out loud in the theater. So definitely check it out. It's called Barb and Star Vista Del Mar. It's been recommended to hell. It's finally on a Blu-ray. It's for rental. It's like $5 to rent. So that's what I did. And it looks beautiful in 4K.
Shout out to Knives Out 2 getting
That's right.
a thing.
Knives Out.
And Knives Out 3.
Potentially.
I haven't watched Knives Out 1 yet.
Dude, we gotta have a watch party with it.
Is it on
Have you
Netflix?
seen Knives Out?
It's on Amazon.
Okay, it's on Amazon. Perfect.
not seen it before.
Bet we're having a
Okay,
community
then we need to do it. Yeah,
movie
we need to
night.
do a viewing party for that.
We-
'cause I've
let's-
heard nothing but good things about that movie.
Yes.
Like literally nothing but good things. And everybody
Yeah.
hates Rian Johnson apparently. So like,
Oh, for Star Wars, yeah, but
Star
I think
Wars.
he's definitely redeemed. I think that when me and Mario saw it, I think the first thing I said was, "Yeah, I could forgive him for Star Wars for that
And
one."
I'm like, dude, I got to show you Looper. I got to show you Brick. I got to show you Brothers
I've seen,
Bloom.
see the problem with
Looper's
Looper is I've already seen the ending to Looper.
Oh, fair
and
enough. So you
that whole movie's kind of ruined. If you,
I still think it has a style and stuff. You know, it is what it is. Anyways, but yes, those are the 3 movies I'm recommending. I'm recommending
So yeah,
House of the Devil by Ty West, which is fantastic. House, the 1977 version. There are other versions of House. This is a Japanese movie. It's fantastic. And Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. One of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time.
and then we have to have a watch party for Knives Out since most of us have seen it.
Sounds perfect.
we might even make it a
So-
community day. Like, let's make it like a
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Let's do it. I also have not been playing any new games, just the same, working through the same stuff. But I have been going back into the Bright Sessions universe, which is a podcast. It's a basic summary of the Bright Sessions. There's a therapist for people with superpowers. That's basically the gist of it. But they had a spin-off show called the AM Archives, which talks about the story after the Bright Sessions. And it was originally only released on Luminary, and now they're slowly rolling it out to free podcast platforms.
Okay.
And so since they're releasing those on podcast platforms I listen to, I've just been kind of diving back into that world, and it's just great. Like, the writing's really good, the sound design's great, the music is amazing. There's a musical episode, which you gotta love a musical episode. And so that's been kind of what's been eating my time up that's new this week. So that's about it for the track point. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Frank, for the patch notes.
Okay, thank you. Our first article this week comes from Kotaku. Report, Naughty Dog is working on a Last of Us remake for PS5 by Brian Ashcraft. So guys, a Last of Us remake is in the works at Naughty Dog under the name T1X. The remake has been in development for a while under a studio led by Michael Mumbauer. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Jokingly named by Sony as Naughty Dog South. Reportedly, Sony greenlit the project under a probationary basis and did not provide any necessary funding or support to help the studio develop the project efficiently. Due to the expensive nature of the project, in 2020, Mumbar and his team were moved over to instead help with the finishing touches on The Last of Us Part 2, and T1X has since been taken over by the Naughty Dog core group itself. So what do we think about this one? This one's kind of a yikes on Sony's part, for many reasons. But I know Mario had some words that he wanted to share about this, so I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I prepared a special cam for this. Let's see if it worked. Let's see. Okay, hey. Hi, how's it going? What the fuck are you doing, Sony?
Well, you clipped your microphone, so we didn't hear the.
No, it can't
thing.
clip.
Good job.
It can't clip because I have an anti-clip thing. So yeah. What the fuck? Why do this? It doesn't make a lick of sense, other than obviously they want this ready for, I guess, the TV show, but at the same time, like, you already have a perfectly good version that just plays on your system already. If not, just up-res that to a PS5 version. Literally, that's all you did when the PS3 version came out. You just up-res the textures and put a nice little sheen on it.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
You know, like, you did that for PS4, and now you can't just do that for PS5. I don't understand the need for this early. This game is barely 10 years old. It's not even. And we're talking about remaking it already?
How many releases are we gonna get? How many more releases are we gonna get? The Last of Us or Mario re-releases?
I feel like this is going to be like Kingdom Hearts, where it's going to be like 1.2, 1.5.3, the Ultimate Edition.
Nobody's gonna do what they do with Kingdom Hearts. That's Tetsuya Nomura. Nobody can fuck something up more than Tetsuya Nomura. So let's
let's be real here. Nobody can fuck up like just remakes better than them. You know.
And I'm curious of what's going on with Neil Druckmann, because I know he's working on the TV show. And I know they have to be working on something, not just this, because that would be ridiculous in my opinion. But
what wasn't Factions a thing?
Factions supposedly is still a thing. Yeah, Factions. Oh well, Yeah, no, because they've teased around this specific thing, and Neil Druckmann has said, you know, it's like, hey, we know what you really want. It's coming, don't worry. But eventually we'll get there. So factions will definitely, I still think, will be a thing this generation. But at the same time, I'm just like, why even touch the story? And granted, the only major thing that is different between if you played 1 and 2 is that there is maybe a character that Joel holds on to and kills is different in 2. But that is subtextually doesn't matter in my opinion. It just does not matter. I just don't get it. On top of that, there's some other stuff that obviously this is a big part of that story. The other part is apparently Sony Ben pitched Days Gone 2, and they were like, nah, don't worry about it. So the studio might be put on to do another sequel to totally different on the game. I would rather have them made a
currently in pre-production for something, but that's about it.
Yeah. So
Sony Ben is in pre-production for a game. Who knows what it is?
Who knows
That's all I know.
It's definitely not Days Gone 2 because that's been
We do
canceled.
know that it's not
Been
Days
straight
Gone
up
2.
canceled.
I bet it's like Uncharted, but they're remastering Golden Abyss.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. That was the other
think
kind of
it's
like
something new.
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that's been floating around, especially with this article when I was trying to find a good source for it, was that there was also a Uncharted remake in the works, but nobody could really corroborate that. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's false. But apparently might be an Uncharted remake going on here too as well. But I don't know.
Yeah, I and as someone said it very succinctly, and I think you were part of that conversation that I saw, but it was Jack Trenton talking about how it's not so much about making money as about the spirit of the game, stuff like that. And I feel like that's completely not represented this new generation of just things just feeling corporate as hell and gross and not communicative and just I just feel disgusted by this.
I don't feel like people should be reminded of this, but I feel like people do forget that these are companies at the end of the day. They are big companies who make big money, and the bottom line is it's about money at the end of the day. Fanboying over whether or not they have better exclusives or this or that, your plastic console, that is not going to matter the next generation. And just because you bought it one generation doesn't mean that they owe you anything the next. It's going to be, there's always going to be this weird dynamic of who is quote unquote the winner of one generation than the other. Like Sony could do nothing wrong in the PS4 era. They were top of their game. And that really does come from the momentum that they had over Xbox when Xbox announced their Xbox One, made some dumb mistakes. They played on those mistakes, and their PR team did an insane job to like gas up Sony. And they rolled with it. They rolled with being the people's console, and now they're making mistakes that it's like, how could you make these mistakes when you have all this marketing and stuff like that shows that you thought otherwise. At the end of the day, it's just money. They know people will buy their console no matter what they do.
I agree with you, and I think a large part of it, and we don't really know what ended up happening, but is it Jack? No, it's not Jack Trenton. It's Sean Layden. Like randomly, 1 week was just gone. They just like, hey, I'm leaving, I'm done. No follow up, no real major talk about it, just sort of disappeared. And he was a big part of that last regime with Kazurai and Shuhei Yoshida. And they, at the very least, during the PS4 era, made it feel like a place where I want it to be in terms of accessibility to games. There's a lot more focus on indie titles at that time. At the same time, they've had hitter after hitter after hitter with their big titles. 100%. I see that. And I still think they're going to still have those for this generation. But man, has the marketing this time around just been so tone deaf the same way that Xbox was the previous generation. Mm-hmm. And Phil Spencer fucking resurrected that goddamn group up to the point where I have so much faith in free will that I feel bad that I didn't buy their console, because I feel like they've done so much extra that didn't need to happen. They didn't need to boost your old games. They didn't need to put your damn old games available on these systems. And I feel like they've just applied so much extra things. They're buying now massive studios and things like that. Like, obviously, they're trying to gain market share and gain the system. And they're a corporation first. But god damn, do they know how to talk to the consumer. and respond
I think-
when bad things happen.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is, Sony and Microsoft, they're both corporations. They're trying to do whatever's going to be best for the monetary result. And right now, for Sony, that is, taking advantage of those big titles. You want to take advantage of the name Naughty Dog. You want to take advantage of the name Last of Us. So if they're going to make a remake and sell it for $70, that's what they're going to do. And for Microsoft right now, what's getting them the big bucks, what's bringing in the money, is being that consumer-friendly platform. We have the best console and the cheapest console. You have all of your games. And they're just coming at it from like two totally different perspectives. All that to say, I think we answered the question. None of us want a Last of Us remake.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I'll be real with you. As much as I probably, it sounds even in this article that I kind of shit on it. I did like Last of Us Part 1. It was a great game. I do love the multiplayer of that game. I would like to see a remastered version of that multiplayer. What kills this for me, is just the mistreatment of like a smaller studio. That's what really kind of hurts me a little bit. It's the way Sony kind of said, well, you're not our Naughty Dog, so we're not going to give you money. We're not going to give you any kind of support to make this project. We're not even going to give you a goddamn name. We're going to joke around and say you're a Naughty Dog's South. And then go, okay, well, you guys need money? Well, how about this? We're going to push you guys to our ongoing project, which was Last of Us Part 2, and then we're going to take this project away from you and give it to them instead. It's like, come on, Sony.
Did they say what
Really?
happened to that group afterwards? Like, is it still part of
Most of those people are gone at this point.
Really?
From what I read up. Yeah, most of those people are gone. I know, and again, this is all reports, so anything could be wrong here. Anything could be information that could be changed later on down the road. But I know Mumbar here is not part of that studio anymore and not part of that team.
It's
So
Mumbauer.
Mumbauer. Yeah, he's not part of that team anymore. So
Yeah.
That sucks. And I mean, what would they really realistically be remaking in a Last of Us remake?
I guess
anyway,
to
other
teach
than a
Ellie how to
graphical
swim.
overhaul?
I guess that would be it. They just teach Ellie how to swim, so she couldn't swim in the
She
first
gets swimming
one.
practice.
But it's the first one remake, so they're not going to change anything.
Yeah, they're going to change the gameplay mostly. They probably change more. It's more of a graphical overhaul, I think. But
Unless somehow the Final Fantasy VII or Ghosts kind of come in there and they're like, oh my god, things.
No, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, no, I
we
know.
start retconning story and stuff like that. Oh no.
Yeah,
Fee, you look like you're disgusted at all this. What do you have?
Not so much that I'm disgusted. I'm just trying to think, like, realistically, like, is there any real need to make a remake of this, especially time frame wise?
Yeah. Here's how I was going to equate it to. I was going to equate it to the Star Wars sort of like remasters in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Where they're adding stuff and changing things and sounds and dialogue, and it doesn't make it better. Like, by far, it doesn't make it better. So that's where I'm equating it to.
Last of Us was so praised for the game that it is. Like, I don't think that there should be anything that's added to it. Like, if you really want to, like, develop something, you might want to do, like, maybe a spin-off game to, like, highlight maybe some different characters. But the amount of times that I've talked to people about The Last of Us, and it's talked as though it's the holy grail of gaming, especially for the PlayStation series, that completely doing a rehaul or a revamp of it just doesn't seem needed at this point. Maybe like visual upgrades to come over to the PlayStation 5 if you really want to keep the legacy alive, sure. But I don't see the point in completely doing a remastered version. Not remastered, but specifically what they're looking to do here. Because it just sounds like they're using resources that they could be doing more. Because right now my whole thought process is, like, if you are a AAA company, you should be looking at innovating and moving forward instead of looking backwards, because right now it seems as though the trend is, let's take a really great game and then do a rehaul instead of like, hey, we should actually put in these resources to come up with something fantastic so we have like the game of PlayStation 5. But right now they're looking at, let's look at the game of PlayStation 3, and that kind of irritates me at this point, because
I agree with
2021. It's been a decade.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
It hasn't been a decade. It's been 9 years. No, 8 years since the
Okay,
game
you
came
know
out.
what? I'm
Yeah.
close enough, Harv.
Yeah, close enough.
But that's what I mean,
It's
right?
an
It hasn't
old
even been 10
game.
Yeah, it's not
We
that
don't
old.
need it.
Yeah.
It's already been remastered. Like, we don't need to keep spending the same
Yeah.
time on this game. Do something new, for God's sake,
Yeah.
please.
Yes.
No,
Just
I
give us
agree.
something new.
Like honestly, and I was joking, Harv. Like it's only been 8 years. Only 8 years. Like it's not even like if I'd understand if it was like 20 years ago we made this game and now we're bringing it to a new audience. Like all you're doing is you're bringing the same game to the same audience that have already enjoyed this game. Like
Not to mention,
There's-
you're gonna have a TV show that's gonna be telling the same story.
correct.
Well, that's the thing. That's you basically said it yourself. It's its popularity that's kind of propelling all this stuff forward. Like The Last of Us Part 2, you know, given its controversy, still won bajillions of awards. Like so, like at Sony, the marketing team is probably just like, we need everything Last of Us. Last of Us, just anything
I
that's
just-
Last of Us, fucking
Yeah.
green light right now.
Just
like,
an idea of the
throw it out there.
of the first game, though. I'm like, why do that? But like, yes, spinoff. Okay, great. What? Where's Abby doing during this time? Fine, make that game.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that is. You know, Henry and Sam, tell that story. You know, whatever you want to do. Like,
Because this is what they could do. They could release the game for PlayStation 5 and then have these like side stories as even as DLC. To say like, hey, this is what happens to this character, and here's like a 10-hour DLC that you can play to kind of get their backstory or like where they are now. Or, oh, there was this one particular person we didn't get to see. And I'm speaking as someone who's barely consumed any of this particular
Yeah.
content, but like, hey, here's a character that people wanted to hear more about. So here's a slight like a DLC spinoff. I don't think they need to have a full-on game. If they wanted to do a full game, great. But this isn't needed.
Fee, you
This-
nailed the nail on the head earlier when you made jokes about Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts did this. It's called Kingdom Hearts 2.8, where it was a remake of an older game, but there was new content for 3 in it that is only exclusive in that game. So yes, they could do what you're saying. Remake the game. Not remake the game. Just put the old game in there. Maybe new parts that you can do stories in. I don't know. Something.
Yeah. You're welcome, PlayStation. You didn't have to completely fuck one of your studios for an idea. All you need to do is listen to your consumers.
yeah, which is they're
Wouldn't
doing a lot
that
of
be
not of
a
right now.
miracle?
I think that one of the biggest things out of this is it sucks for Sony band that they couldn't make a Days Gone 2 out of this either. Just like thinking about like what they like, Days Gone 2 has so much potential in that game because of how good Days Gone 1 was. They have a good foundation, they have a good way to like make this game, and they just didn't have like the resources, and they just don't have the faith in Sony, or Sony doesn't have faith in them to make a Days Gone 2,
Yeah,
and it sucks. So now
I mean,
they're gonna be rolling
Sony
their
just
dice
wants that
again.
formula.
Yeah, but they're rolling the dice again,
Yeah.
right? Like Sony Ben is rolling the dice again for saying like, oh, maybe our new IP is not gonna stick or anything like that.
I just want companies to innovate again. It's been so long since I've seen like companies really just like try something really, really new. I mean, the technology is moving forward. That's cool. Everything looks really nice, but the gameplay is feeling kind of samey now at this point. Everybody just wants to emulate the Last of Us walking simulator, idea where like people are walking, people are talking. We have small gameplay little loops here and there, but for the most part, every other game does it. Even God of War does it now. It's like, can we just stop?
Somebody needs to check the drawers, Frank. Somebody needs to
Yes,
check the
we
drawers.
need to check all these drawers for things, and we have to have
duct tape.
we have to have situations
Oh,
where
my-
like you can't run, but you can move your character around 360 while you're talking to this person who's like 20 feet behind you. It's like, no,
Frank,
can we just stop doing
Let
that
me
already?
ask you a question there.
What's up?
Do you think we'll see any innovation and new gameplay in the digital-only E3 2021?
I'm glad you asked that, Sly, because guess what? Our next article comes from gamesindustry.biz. Nintendo, Xbox, and Ubisoft back digital-only E3 2021 by Christopher Dring. So, guys, E3 is officially back. I can't remember if we got official confirmation other than this week.
This was
was it. Okay. E3 is officially back, and it's coming back in June as a digital event. They are being backed currently right now by Nintendo, Ubisoft, and Xbox. However, Sony and EA have not said anything about being part of the online event. On that note as well, Capcom, Take-Two, and Warner Brothers are also reportedly being in attendance, and Konami, which is a weird one because Konami doesn't make games anymore. So we'll see on that. What do we think? Do we think this is going to be a repeat of like last year where it was just like, here's some games that we can announce now, but we'll keep the real hitters for later? Or do you think this will actually feel more like a normal E3 this year?
Honestly, I really hope we just get a solid show. I just want people to come out and be like, hey, have some hype. Here's what we're working on. Here's something new. Here's something that's coming out soon. And then hit us with the like obscure like tease for something that's not gonna come out for 6 years. That's all I want. I want like simple, formulaic, fun press conference. Like, I just, I don't want it to be a whole bunch of like crazy BS. Oh, we're going to give you dates for all these things that are super unrealistic that we know isn't going to happen. Because we saw so much of that, and I'm so tired of the like screenshot Twitter tweets about everything being delayed. Like, stop putting dates on things. We're still in a panini. Like, just do your thing, right?
Yeah. When it's ready,
Anybody
it's
else
ready.
with me?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's super dumb to give it a release date unless you can, like, don't give release dates for a game. I understand people are going to get super antsy and, like, speculate and all that over a release date, but until this game is, like, solid, ready to go, don't give a release date. I feel like it gives your game more bad will to give a release date, then delay it later, than it would be just to give me that date later.
Well,
I can.
it's what's happening right now with games, right? Like, people aren't giving like, sure, Deathloop and stuff like that. They had like definite release dates before the pandemic even started, right? So they had like a kind of a release date going. I think now companies are looking at like their calendar, be like, we can't release, like we don't know when release dates are going to happen. So let's keep it close to our vest and be like, okay, when we're about 2 months out or a month out, let's throw out the release date.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. And it seems
Bethesda does that. Bethesda does that really
they've
well.
been doing it for a while. I feel like now companies are doing it more now because of the pandemic, right? Because how hard it is to develop games while all of this is happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways, because it's both a combination of investors and stuff like that to keep them qualms like, okay, the game's coming out then, this is when hopefully we'll make revenue and then you'll get your cut back, whatever it ends up being. That's the double-edged sword of it. Again, I don't know how much all that needs to be public, like you're saying, like, so that way.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
you can have an internal release date. You absolutely
Yeah.
should have those deadlines. And, tell your investors, hey, we're aiming for this day, we're aiming for this month, whatever it is. But we don't need to know that. Right?
Yeah,
Like, that doesn't need to be public information.
Unless it's something that I don't like, because Nintendo does that all the time, right? They'll have those reports sometimes, and then there's like, why is this public? I don't understand why the general public needs to know any of this. But so I don't know. I guess it's I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I'm a small town pizza lawyer. I don't know these things, but
Small type pizza lawyer. Fee, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
This event.
I
Do you watch E3? Like, do
Yes.
you watch it every year? Okay.
Yep, I take time off work to watch it too, because I'm not.
Why not?
We
Why
used to
not?
watch. We used to watch it at work. Me and Mario used to just sit there.
Yeah.
We would hope customers would not come in, and we would just be like, every time there was an announcement, we'd look them dead in the eyes and be like, "You better get the fuck out right now. You better get the fuck out. All right, they're announcing Spider-Man right now, motherfucker. All right,
Oh my
your
goodness.
phone does not matter."
Good God,
awesome.
no. I would take time off work, and honestly, I'm excited to see where this goes. And I think this is honestly how they should be doing it moving forward anyway, because it's essentially been digital for probably 60% of us anyway, because we stay at home, watch these events. Because quite honestly, even after the pandemic, the idea of going to E3 and being surrounded by tons of people, just not my vibe. So having the ability to watch it from home and then having the opportunity to see these like releases and announcements from the comfort of your own home and also it coming back is fantastic. Timeline wise, when it comes to like announcements, the pandemic's really like the best way to put this, and there's no easy way other than to say like it's fucked everybody. Release date wise, as we saw with Cyberpunk, quality wise.
I think that had issues before the pandemic.
Well, here's the thing.
But that's for a different time. That's a different rant.
Yeah, no, that's a different. I'm using specifically that as an example because that was another thing that was brought up when there was a bunch of issues with that particular game. And so right now I'm excited to see how it goes. And I don't think we're going to see PlayStation there, quite honestly, because PlayStation just likes to do their own thing now because the second that they realize that we can do this ourselves and not have to worry about others and we make a whole day for ourselves and not have to share the stage with anyone else, I don't think we'll see PlayStation. If PlayStation's there, I'm really excited, but I don't think we're going to see them there.
Do you think they'll announce around it? Like they're not because
Yes.
like EA EA Play does it where they're not E3, but they're like right next door to E3.
Yeah, they're like right in this little like section right
Yeah.
next to there. It's like we just bought a little plot of land.
It's
for-
like
for a
there's the
day.
Staples Center, and then we're in the Nobu restaurant, and here's EA. You know,
I will,
that's so weird.
I will say right now, I think they will be probably either a week or maybe like 4 days afterwards.
Possible.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think they
in
want to go
that
before.
timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to go before everybody. They want to go after because then they'll have all the spotlight after that. Just like how Sony does in all E3s. They're always the last ones to go, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
but on this note though, I'm so happy for this. I'm so
Oh
happy.
my
for
god, I'm
this.
so happy
You happy
for,
for
it too.
E3 to come
Oh
back?
my god, I'm so
yeah,
happy.
because I want this digital event. And I don't want to mess like we had last year where it was just like 6 months of just bullshit.
Just drip feeding, just like, all right, I don't know, fucking maybe Crash Bandicoot's coming out, or I don't know, maybe Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
Maybe we're gonna show the same game in 5 different showcases.
Yeah,
Who knows?
exactly. And it's just like, man, as much as I love Jeff Keighley, I love you, Jeff Keighley. Hold on one second.
We love Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley, I love you. But I want you to know the way that you did it last year by drip feeding everything out for 3 months was asinine. And I don't know if it's so much your fault as everyone else, but please, let's not do that again. Hold on. Wrong channel. But yes, please. I adore E3. It is one of my favorite weekends that I get to enjoy either going or not going. The closest thing next to it is San Diego Comic-Con weekend because it's the same thing where I'm like online looking for video screenshots of people watching Hall H footage and stuff like that. These are my times. These are the times that I'm the most alive as a human being. So E3 as a week where, yes, conference, and it's just all it is just a series of ads that someone's selling me. And this is the only time that I'm totally hyped for this type of situation.
It's just trailer
Just
week.
trailer after trailer, and then that whole week is filled of like Sony, Xbox, and then for this, because they're showing, they said Capcom and Warner Brothers. What if they all had their own little personal directs, just little things of just like, here's a Warner Brothers direct of like Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, fucking Ninja Turtle game. I don't know, whatever they got going on.
Into Turtle game.
They would
What
just be
the
so
hell
perfect.
do we think is Konami doing?
Definitely something Silent Hill related or Metal. I don't think they would do anything
Castlevania
else.
season 4 of the anime.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe.
fucking pachinko machine. Let's go.
Yeah.
releasing
They
it
wouldn't. I
next
shit you
week.
not. Konami. I mean, I'm saying this now, but I might eat my words on this. Konami would not have the fucking balls to come to an E3 and just announce a pachinko machine. And if they did, oh my god, they would get so
Honestly.
much hate.
Legendary.
Yeah, they would. I would actually condemn them really, really hard. But
I would be so impressed, honestly.
oh man, Konami, what happened to you guys?
Yeah.
Who
Well,
knows?
speaking of
Yeah.
Konami,
Speaking of
I was waiting to
Konami.
make that. I was thinking about it too. I'm like, do we have anything else to say, or can I make this transition?
Do you know who also had his
Go
heart
for
broken
it.
off?
Make that
by
same one
Konami?
too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Make
speaking
that
of Konami,
transition.
our next article, or actually our final article this week, comes from The Escapist. So, let me get here. Microsoft is reportedly in talks with Kojima Productions to publish its next game by George Yang. So, Microsoft's reign of domination isn't over, as according to VentureBeat, the giant is looking forward to looking to publish Kojima Productions' next game. Apparently, the news came out as the new Sony IP Abandoned caused some speculation this week, as people thought it was Kojima Productions' new IP, similar to how they used Moby Dick Studios to announce Metal Gear Solid 5. It's also worth mentioning that in early February of this year, during a call, Phil Spencer had a Luden statue in the background, which is the mascot for Kojima Productions. So what do we think, guys? Do we think this is another one of Kojima's infamous like ruse cruises, or is this just a bunch of coincidences that are just kind of...
I want to say one thing. I just want to tell Kojima to get his bag. That's it.
Get your
All right?
bag.
Wherever he can get that shit, do it.
Yes.
If it's Microsoft, if it's Sony, if it's him funding his own game, whatever it is. He's doing it right. He's doing it right, honestly.
Yeah.
He's doing it perfectly.
You know what actually is kind of funny, because we were just talking about this earlier too. Games being innovative and stuff like that. The irony is, like, Kojima comes out and it's just like, hey, every single one of his games are innovating his last ones, right? But then he said, I'm gonna make the most innovative walking simulator known to fucking man. He did.
He's gonna make Death Stranding 2 Xbox exclusive.
Dude, he made the post-apocalyptic Mad Max version of the Paperboy, and it's so good, in my opinion. I enjoy this dumbass game. Clearly, I have a baby.
He said
and
walking
you're
simulator.
You're caressing it in ways.
My BB.
In ways.
Oh,
So
God.
ominous. Oh gosh.
No.
no, we're out.
No.
I've never played it. I've never played a Kojima game. I just want to throw that out there right now.
Oh, man.
You should. You should. They're very
Very good.
There's a lot of thought put into them. And I always tell people, if you're going to start playing Kojima games, I definitely suggest you start from the beginning. You always start with Metal Gear Solid. I don't really suggest playing Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. They're games that don't really do too much to really bring out what Kojima really brings to the table. But Metal Gear Solid as a series always innovates on itself. Metal Gear Solid was a insanely narrative game in a time where cutscenes were just basically pictures, reaction, that's it. There were barely any kind of cutscenes or barely any kind of really good voice acting going on at the time. And then you have a game like Metal Gear Solid 2 where we're going to add first person view, we're going to add better graphics, we're going to add even better acting, and then it just gets better and better and better from each game. And in a society where like all these games are starting to look very samey, Kojima kind of comes out and says, here, let's try something new, and then sets a bar for everybody else to kind of come up to. And I'm excited to see what Microsoft gets out of this. I mean, a lot of people have different opinions on Death Stranding, but I think it's a great game. It's not for everybody, but then again, it wasn't supposed to be the same game Kojima made before. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be something new, and that's what we want.
Have you played any Kojima games?
Hard
Played a
pause.
game?
She's played Smash.
He's pondering.
She's played Smash, so it has Kojima stuff in it.
It
Yeah,
does.
Yes, that's like
I wouldn't call that a Kojima
that's
game.
like the farthest reach ever.
I tried. I actually have no idea if he's played Smash Brothers. I have no idea.
Okay, I've played PT.
Okay.
Okay, that counts.
Basically.
All right, that counts.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay, so I have played PT, so okay, that's why I have.
Yeah,
played
which
Kojima.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure Harvard played that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm a little bit indifferent because I was not super thrilled or excited about Walking Simulator that he made recently. But I'm interested to see how it goes, and I think Xbox, as I know, like we're definitely not like a strictly like we all love Xbox, but Xbox is definitely making some money moves, and that is one of them. Because if if Kojima's name is on something, the fanboys go nuts.
Yeah.
And so if they know that Kojima is going over to Xbox, this is just a whole other like this is another win for Microsoft, and they're doing very well. Whereas we're seeing PlayStation doing a lot of moves recently that are honestly tarnishing the Sony name. So I'm interested to see how this kind of friendship goes between Kojima and Microsoft, and see where it goes from there. Because his next game might be something that's right up my alley. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see, whatever. One of my favorite things about Kojima, not necessarily is playing his games, but seeing what they do for games in general and the innovation. Like we were saying earlier, we want new shit, new mechanics, new stories. Like, I feel like I can speak for all of us saying we want innovation in this space. And he's doing it, so.
yeah, like none of us can sit here and be like, man, that Kojima game was really normal and boring. Like, it's either like obscure as hell, or like, because I
will
cannot commend him enough for like being like, he thinks outside of the box. Haha, funny joke for Metal Gear, but
It's fair.
Pretty decent.
It's pretty fair.
Joke.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
thank you. Okay,
pretty-
so
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I just wanted to. I was hoping that it landed well. But I think
Captain America, I get that reference.
I cannot commend him enough for the work and effort that he's put into the game industry, and I'm very excited to see what he does with Microsoft money, because
Microsoft money.
that is something else.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this. I've become a recent convert over the last few years, playing playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, and obviously beating Death Stranding as well. I have seen the evolution of what he's done from 2 to 3, and where we are at with even 5, with Metal Gear Solid 5 and Death Stranding. They're just things that you just don't think about, that this man's thinking about, that are insane and complicated and just on a whole other level. So yes, I'm excited for whatever wacky man this guy does. And good one on Microsoft. I don't know what's I mean, I guess the returns on Death Stranding were probably not the highest, which is probably a reason why it's on PC as well. But at the same time, hey, if Microsoft's got the money, go for it.
I mean, but the thing is, like, it's on PC, not from Sony, right?
It's 505.
Remedy. It's 505. Yeah, that's who published it, right? So
yeah, but they still have some investment because they gave him the money to make the game to begin with.
Yeah, they basically jump started his company. So
Yeah.
no, dude. If Kojima can go to a place that's gonna get him another game, just do it, right? Like, that's the only way. There's no allegiances when it comes to this kind of stuff.
yeah, I'd
Wherever
rather
you can make the money.
I'd rather him be a free agent than be stuck under one studio
Yeah.
anyway.
Exactly.
I think that can be our closing thought.
Yeah,
Sound
whoever's
good?
doing the thumbnail, can I get the infamous picture of Kojima of this guy? He's just like praising the sky, right? He's just like this, and I want the picture of Microsoft, the Xbox logo on the guy's head, and then Kojima in the background. He's in the sky.
Yeah,
he's
I
got
know-
that
I know
like
what you're
Ryden
referring
King look. You know exactly what I'm talking
Kojima!
about.
Yeah.
Kojima.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's our thumbnail. So thank you so much, Frank, for the patch notes.
Always a
Mario,
pleasure.
throw it over to you for some spicy takes.
Okay,
this
here we go. Some spicy takes. So I pulled a article from IGN by a friend of mine, Lucy O'Brien. This was an article that was actually updated, it looks like last year on May. But essentially, the article reads 7 controversial video game opinions from developers themselves. So this is actually controversial video game opinions from the people that make our games. I'm only going to pick one of them, obviously. But this one I think is interesting and kind of what we kind of talked about in certain ways, where some things are too open in terms of it comes to like release dates, but there's also other information that they hold back that I think is necessary that for some reason they just decide not to do. So reading from, let's see here. Basically this comes from a tweet that one of the developers wrote. The industry is far too secretive, which has led to a culture where people don't actually know how video games are made or why decisions get made the way that they do, which creates an enormous disconnect when players think they understand things that are completely wrong. So, of course, that was a pull from someone who wrote, what is your most controversial video game opinion? And then a bunch of developers responded to that specific tweet. But that is the question I provide to everybody. The industry is too damn secretive. It just sucks that there's a lot of things I think that we wish we knew more about how games are actually made instead of making these assumptions. And I feel like a lot of us end up talking out of our own asses because of it. So what are your thoughts on things that you wish that studios would stop doing that would allow for one? Go for it.
Literally stop fucking giving me a trailer that is obvious bullshit. I hate when companies put out a trailer with gameplay or in-game engine gameplay where it's like, here's this really good looking game with this really cool looking gameplay, and then immediately if you've played games long enough, you can just look at a trailer and go, that's not going to be in the final product. That is not the final product. There's no way that game is going to look like that and play like that in the final product.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones I can think of off the top of my head, two of them actually, Anthem and Metro Exodus. Where if you remember Metro Exodus's like initial gameplay trailer, it looks very similar to the game, but like the way the character moves and stuff like that, like it's the character's too smooth, the way he looks around and stuff like that, like that is not making it into the game. That's not how it works on a controller. Maybe on a mouse and keyboard, but definitely not on a controller. And then even Anthem, where it's just like this game looks too good, too smooth. And then you look at the actual gameplay for Anthem, you're like, oh, there it is. There's the real gameplay there.
My example of that is Watch Dogs and any Ubisoft game. No.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just it's the same thing that you're saying, where the game trailer, the first time we were introduced to Watch Dogs, it looked incredible. This was supposedly what Xbox One and the PS4 were supposed to be able to do. But then when you played the game, it looks nothing like or totally reduced from what you've seen.
So the thing about Watch Dogs is all that stuff that was in that E3 trailer is actually in the game. All that stuff is in there. The physics, the way the coat moves, all of that is in the game. There's a great mod out there for PC where you can literally it's a small file, so they're not adding anything. It literally just turns all that stuff back on, and the game looks completely different. So it was a weird thing where like Ubisoft said, I guess we're just going to turn all this stuff off for the console versions and even the PC version, and then just ship this game out as a totally different looking game compared to what we showed at E3. I don't understand why companies still do this.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of my biggest problems with game studios. And I guess not the studios themselves, but people who advertise games feel like they don't know what they're talking about. And I feel like there's this huge disconnect between a studio, their advertisers, and the consumers. And it's just like the message gets so confuddled. Like you'll put out a trailer and consumers are going, some of the less informed are like, oh, this is amazing, I really want to play this, and then are super let down when they get the actual game. Or the more informed will look at that and go, this is bullshit. Like, we know the game's not going to run like that. We know it's not going to play like that. And yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily on... I think that would be on the advertisers needing to be more informed about how games work, in my opinion. But yeah, it's something I want from studios is like more connection with people who are actually making the games. I don't care about who your top dog is. I don't care about the dude, like the CEO. I like talking to people who are like in the weeds, in the trenches, doing QA, doing development. Those are the like people that I want to hear from, right? Like these are the people who actually know what your games are about and how they work. And the culture of the studio. And I feel like that's where the like secrecy comes in, is these top people who are just looking down are the ones who are trying to convey this information. And there's just so much disconnect, I think. That's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially when it comes to just the idea of releasing games and having this idea that you think that these games are going to come out on the time that they're going to come out too, but we are still have to keep secret hush hush until the very last second, until we have to then do the Twitter post of like, sorry, we have to wait and stuff like that. Just tell us what's wrong. Tell us why. Tell us why, and then we'll understand. Like, I'm okay with delays. Like when Cyberpunk was being delayed and everyone kept making fun of the yellow text thing, which was the first of many jokes that game would suffer. I was okay with it for the most part, but at the same time, they still were not really telling us what was wrong. And I think that's the key thing that needs to change, is that we'll understand better if we understand what is going to taking so much time to make your thing. When you set a promise, like a date, that, you know, it's interesting how this all works. But again, yeah, I just wish it was not as so secretive. Same thing with movies. Movies have that same goddamn problem too.
Mm-hmm.
Harv, is there any secrets that you think we need to know about the industry?
The whole release of like telling you what's wrong, there's a reason for that. One reason is investors. That's a huge reason why you don't say anything like that. Because usually investor calls are public knowledge, right? People listen in investor meetings, right?
Yeah.
So like, even if they say it there, if they say it in the text, they're not going to say it. They're not going to say it internally to investors, because that's going to freak them out. That stuff is done just with managers, developers, and like people within the company, which it makes sense, because then if you start talking about like what's wrong, that's going to put a bad image out there of the game itself as well. I get like that, so I understand why they don't do that. I just wish the companies were a little bit more transparent about the process, in a way, of like making games, what it takes to make games, right? Being in a company that has hundreds and hundreds of people. Look at let's take Rockstar Games, for example, right? How many studios does it make? How many studios does it take to make GTA 5, for example? Right? All over the United States, all over the world, pretty much. Just being a little bit more honest about like who's working on it and what it takes to get everybody on the same page for making a game. I can't even imagine how GTA 6 is working right now with the pandemic happening. Like, is this game, are we gonna see this game in the next like 3 or 4 years? Maybe in the next 4 years. Hope maybe.
Yeah, even if they're
Right?
making it, again, I don't even know if they're making it. They have to be making something, right?
They have to be
They've
making
got,
it.
yeah, they've got to be making
Yeah,
it. But like,
If we're hitting around that time, it should be already either announced or it's on its way. It has to be, because it's
But I
already almost
think,
been
like,
10 years.
the thing is, like, all these announcements, all this stuff that comes out when they get delayed, I wish they would be a little bit more honest of like, we're COVID is happening right now. It's hard. We can't hit our deadlines. The deadlines are we have to push back. Like, the project has to get pushed back a little bit because of these reasons. Internally, whatever's happening, like if something is on fire and stuff like that, you guys don't need to tell us that. In my opinion, I don't need to know that stuff. That's your guys' internal business, right? But when it comes to like, if you guys aren't hitting deadlines, or if like COVID is affecting it, that's more. I just want more transparency when it comes to these things, because making stuff with big companies, everything moves slow, man. I've noticed it now, because like I've never worked really for a big company, and now working for a really big company, and just like seeing what is happening, and like just looking at like the tickets that like come in to like fix stuff, it is slow. Like one person's been on the same ticket for like a week, and he can't get anything done because somebody else is blocking it some other place where he needs it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just want a little bit more transparency when it comes to like deadlines and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we try to hit this date, but the reasons were X, Y, and Z, and then go from there, kind of type thing.
Yeah, don't give unrealistic expectations to your audiences.
And don't put release dates on anything.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the love of God, do not put release dates on anything.
Yeah.
Because once you start putting release dates, I know you want to hype up people, right? I get it. A year, fine. But like when you put like a hard date on something, more often than not, it gets delayed.
Yeah, and that
I
hype
think
dies
the
out.
problem is that disconnect between, the studio and the consumer. Like, we all love video games, obviously. We talk about them so much, right? But, like, if you actually asked any one of us what is the timeline and process for making a game, I don't think any of us would have any idea, right? And I would just
I mean, a
love
little
to
bit of
see
idea, but
a little bit, right? We're generally informed. We kind of get the idea. I would love to see a timeline just on games. Like, hey, we started pre-production for a new project. We're like have this many people working on something. Maybe it fizzles out. Cool, great. We know you were doing something. Started pre-production for something. We have this many different groups working on it. We're starting production. We have this many groups working on it. Just having like a timeline and saying that studios are doing something instead of just being in the dark for like 4 years.
Yeah,
in
4 or
between
5
things.
years. Gee, there's so many people that are working on
Well-
things that we don't know about that they can't say, and it sucks.
God of War
I
was
know,
like
and
that, right?
you don't even have to say like what you're working on.
Yeah.
Just say, "Hey, we have people working that we're in this stage." I think that would do so much good for the industry as a whole. Just being able to highlight like these are the steps and these are the processes and this is where we're at, instead of only talking to the public when you're announcing something, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Just you don't have to say what you're working on. Just be like, we're in pre-production for a project, a new IP, or we're in
Yeah, that's
pre-production
more than enough to
for
build
something.
You don't
Yeah.
even have to say new IP.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
don't care what you're working on. Just
Yeah.
say, hey, we're working on something.
Yeah.
This is the stage we're in. Great, cool. If you want to give it a code name, give it a code name. If you don't. Like, I don't know. I just think it'd be nice to be able to go to a studio's website and instead of just not having an update for 4 years, say, hey, we're in pre-production. Hey, we're in production. Hey, we're testing.
Well, I mean,
whatever.
I think that's what a lot of people like Kickstarters for, is there's a number of video games that have been coming through Kickstarters recently where you can see, for example, Coral Island, which is, if you signed up for the Kickstarter, you get to play in June, and then later on this year for everyone else. But I think it's something that's got everyone excited is because you actually get to see the step by step. Like, they have updates every week or so explaining like, hey, we've done this, we've released some new characters, what do you think? Like, this is some of the gameplay that we have, this is what we've been doing, this is who we've been in talks with. Like, we're not asking for that with big companies because there is so many freaking tape and like regulations and stuff like that they obviously can't go to the extent that an indie company can go to. But even just opening up the door a little bit, I think a lot of people, especially in 2021, like transparency. You don't have to show how the cookie is made or whatever it is, but you like people want to see a little bit more. You might get more people even more excited because they're on this like journey with you and trying to, finding out that you have a game coming out and this is kind of where you are and stuff like that. That's why people get excited about trailers and seeing like a little bit of gameplay. But I think a lot of the bigger companies are in this older mindset where they have to hide everything. It has to be a surprise. Like, we can only show a little bit of it. But I see more people excited about the indies that are showing like a substantial amount more on how the process is going through and how it's been made than, oh, I know that we talked about this game that like in 2015, but here's a sneak peek. And then it's just like 2 seconds and then a name. Like, I don't,
Okay.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know
okay.
what do you want from me? Like, I'm more hyped about like, hey, here's this indie game that's showing like 10 minutes of, here's the trailer, this is the team that's working on it, here's some gameplay, actual gameplay, not, oh, this is what the game, like, this isn't what the game's gonna look like, but this is a part of the storyline. Like,
This it's like fuck, I had it in my head now and I can't remember.
Elden Ring.
Oh no. Okay, you know what? No. I mean, yes, 100%.
Well, I was going to commend them earlier for not giving a release date.
No, that's
That game's
good.
just
Yeah,
going to be
exactly.
ready when
yes,
it's ready.
correct,
Yeah.
that's good.
But like, one of the biggest things for me was Metroid Prime 4, where I showed it with the logo.
That is a little different because of what
No,
happens.
I mean, now, yes. it's
That was a
different.
little,
but like
yeah.
that restart happened a year ago, I think, right?
2 years now.
It has been 2 years now.
Yeah, like
since the restart?
2019, I think. Yeah,
But
like from scratch,
yeah,
which
from
is
scratch, which is
messed up. I mean,
kinda
they were
crazy.
at least honest about it. They're like, hey,
Nintendo, I feel, is the most honest out of all of them when it comes to this stuff. But I think it's because they are more of a Japanese-centric company that they are more honest in that regard. Honestly,
I feel like they do the same. They do the same.
They do
it, but I
some of
feel
the
They
same.
they're
do
more
say
honest
they
than other
apologize, and
companies.
I feel bad every time they do it. They do it on camera. You know?
Yeah. They get really sad about it.
Yeah. They're upset just as much as we are, and I believe them.
yeah.
I think if they took like if some studios took a little bit of a change in process in showing the consumer more, I think they would get more people hyped for their game. Because yes,
Sympathetic
we've
about
like
them too.
Yeah.
More people
Yeah.
will be sympathetic.
people
Okay.
would be sympathetic, like, hey, like I know, like we know that we said specifically this date, but you guys know how long it, like what we've been doing, and this is why we're currently taking this extra step, rather than, hey, we need to extend the date. That's it.
I think the indie comparison is huge. That's a great example, Fee. You know, indie studios are so transparent because they have to be, because they rely on the public support, right? But if big game companies just like modeled that sort of system where, again, you don't have to tell us everything. You don't have to tell us the storylines, the characters, whatever, but just have that same level of like updating, just like, hey, we're working on this, we're working on this system, this is where we're at. Then when we go, oh, hey, you know, like, we know we said this date, but, you know, we still have to finish up working on this part, we'll all go, oh, okay, we see you're doing something,
Yeah.
right? It's not feeling like, oh, it's just gonna get delayed for eternity and they're not doing anything.
Yeah. A good insight into all this too is the rise of the early access games too as well. Like
Or
one of the
playable
games,
demo.
yeah, like one of the games I herald is 7 Days to Die. It's still an early access game, but it's constantly just getting updates and constantly getting new things added to it, and like it's all based on like community feedback. It's like, okay, well, we don't like this, so it's like, okay, it's an early access game, let's just remove it. Let's try something new. Do you guys like this? No? Okay, let's try something new then.
But there's a difference though, because that is a persistent game, right?
It's
Where
not
you,
supposed to be, but
like it's become a persistent game. That's what I kind of feel like you have, because like you can't do that with like say when Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 comes out.
I think you can.
Right, you
and
can.
I'll give you an example. And I was going to bring it up. Halo Infinite right now is a game that was going to come out last year before pandemic, like it was supposedly done. But there was such brutal feedback from the first reveal from it that they had to reconsider and gave it a whole nother year to do so. And during this year that they're doing it, every month they have been having monthly drops of like, this is what we've been working on. This is how close we're doing.
But you can't make that game playable though. Like you can't just have early access to the game and just.
I don't think it
"Guys,
necessarily
play
has to be
this game,"
playable.
right?
I don't think you need to. I think
No.
they've been doing a great job of keeping us updated, and I think that's all the consumers are really asking for, right? It's just keep us updated.
Like there's a difference between like the way that I would say like Halo Infinite's doing it and then like how Cyberpunk was like, by the way, this video that we're going to show you is about all the cars. The reason why we're showing you the cars is because the way you drive, we're still working on that. It's still fucked up, but we're not going to show you that. We're just going to show you what the cars look like. Here's how the sound of the car looks like. All right, cool. Here's all the weapons. Here are all the players. Because those are the things that are done. We're just showing you these things because we're still trying to fix this goddamn train wreck in the corner. Versus something's like, hey, honestly, this broke on us, but we're working on it, and you know what? We fixed it. We made it better. And then that's what we're doing. Like that's the honesty that we think we really want.
yeah.
Yeah. I just hope that game comes out this year.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Well,
I will
I
say,
feel like as a Halo, like as people want to play Halo, I feel like if it doesn't come out this year, I think it's gonna be in a bad place.
yeah.
All
I will say this, though.
Any last thoughts, Frank? Frank,
Yeah.
you wanna last thoughts?
Harv actually brought up a really good topic there too. Game demos, right? Stop start giving more game demos, companies. It makes no sense to me that you are locking your demos and your previews and all this to people who I don't give a shit you give it to. All right, I understand journos and stuff like that have to have it.
It was me.
But like, make it I'm not talking about you specifically. But what I'm saying is
I've done the
I
thing
don't.
you're doing. You're saying though.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about some random person's thing who probably won't even play your fucking final product. A lot of these journos don't even fucking play these.
That's
From what I found out.
That's not true.
We'll talk about that later. But it's a weird, like, give your games to people who are actually gonna play your games. You know what I mean? Like, put out a demo that we can find, that a person that who's going to go out and actually pay for your game is going to actually get an opinion on, other than someone who might not necessarily have the pedigree to speak on the topic, talk about it, and might shit on it. And someone's going to go on there and go, oh, probably a bad game.
Frank, I love you. That sounds like an amazing hot take topic. I feel like we could go for like an hour talking about we need game demos. I think that's a great hot take for another day.
Yeah, we'll save that for not next week. But
put that in the
after.
pocket. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, for sure. That's I feel like we could talk about that for so long, which is why I'm going to cut you off. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that next hot take. So come back next hot take.
I'll put it in my pocket.
Put it in your
all
pocket.
about game demos.
I got some peanuts in my pocket. I got peanuts.
Why the beans, the peanuts? What is happening here?
What, you don't eat peanuts?
Not in my pocket.
I'm not surprised
pocket
by
peanuts?
anything that comes out of Frank's pockets at this point.
Fair enough.
Where else am I going to put them? That's what pockets are for. You put a bag of peanuts in there. You take it out every now and again. You get a peanut, and then you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you get those peanuts.
All right, Fee, on the topic of pockets, what do you have in your pocket for this week's listener question?
Yeah, I should have worn it. Like, if I knew that you were gonna make that joke, I would have worn an actual dress that has pockets, and I chose one that did not. So that's unfortunate for me. Unfortunate. So this week this was a really great question from honestly, one of my closest friends. He's a great guy. His name's Spencer. He
Never met him.
never met. Honestly, if you've met Spencer, you know you've met Spencer, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. He's such a awesome energy, and one of my board game friends. And I'm going to be specifically cutting this question because I want to get a little bit of insight from all of you, because I feel like this would kind of give some, like, an opportunity to kind of show your personality a little bit. So, Spencer's question originally was talking about, like, your favorite gym leader. That's a great question. I like that question, but I don't think that gives us enough info. I like the bonus question, and I'm going to ask each and every one of you, if you had a Pokemon gym, what type would you have? What would your main Pokemon be, and what type of gym would it be? So if you had to choose like specific types, like a water fire gym or a fairy grass gym, whatever that might be. I also made it a little bit easier. We have a link to a website that kind of honestly is the Pokemon, like anything you need to know about Pokemon, it's specifically there. That was for gym leaders, but that kind of gives you an idea. Also, I think Spencer may have also got this idea from a podcast that I was on a few weeks ago, which was the Podkit Monsters podcast that has Jeff and Dustin on it from the Kind of Funny community. So, because I talked to him about this particular topic. So,
Because you hate Pokemon, right?
I do not hate Pokemon. Don't even start with me. I actually really like Pokemon, and we've had this discussion multiple times on the podcast. I'm going to start off with you, Mario, since you decided to start off. Yeah,
You started to talk some shit.
I was gonna, you know what? I was gonna be nice, and I was like, you know what? Mario looks like he's really thinking about it. I will let him go last.
I'm taking
Then
your
you
prep
decide to-
time. No fucking prep time whatsoever. You're
Yeah.
going in cold.
Because you know why? Because you talk shit, now you get shot, and now you need to talk about your
Talk
favorite
shit. You talk shit, now you getting hit.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well.
So, okay, it's Mario. You're now a gym leader. What type of gym do you have? Like, set the scene for us. What do you have going on there?
I'm gonna base it off just the color of my hair. So my gym is it's a smoke shop, and it has it has the greatest Pokemon known to man coughing and wheezing as my main two Pokemon that I use for battle. You get a very specific green leaf as your badge. And there you go. You come on in. You have to fight my smoke monsters. And
what's your main Pokemon? What's the last Pokemon that they're gonna go up against?
the last one, the last main one is gonna be Magmar, because I need a lighter, so he's around to light things for me. So my main is obviously Magmar. My two front buddies are wheezing and coughing, and we are of course we're yes, that's right. They run the store. I'm in the back all the time. But yeah, that's what I would be. It'd be a fire green gym with a leaf badge, special leaf badge. But you can only fight me at 4:00, 20 minutes on the dot.
Right.
Can you? I wonder if you can smoke Bulbasaur like its leaves. You know, I wonder the insane fucking because he puts you to sleep, right? So that's got to be like some insane like weed right there. That's growing out of Bulbasaur.
I regret all.
I was trying to be as subtle about it as possible.
Yeah, I know you were.
Oh my god.
I mean,
it's
all
legal.
subtlety was gone when you said 420.
I didn't say directly 420.
Is that 4 and then 20 pass?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, what a gym that's gonna be. We're gonna go down the road and end up at Harv's gym. Because Harv is making faces. I'm calling out everyone who's making faces, and so Harv's next.
This is my favorite segment so far.
My gym is going to be a computer lab.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So as you go through each lab, it's a stronger computer, and like once you like log in, you have to log your Pokemon in, and then you fight to the death with the Pokemon.
What?
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
it's always fighting to the death in Pokemon. It really is. They say they faint.
Yeah, they faint.
They're
because
dead. They're dead as hell.
They dead.
Put their carcasses back in the Pokeball.
No, they're dead.
But no, it's like
Pokeball.
They don't. When you take it to a Poke Center, they just give you a new Pokemon. That one's dead. They just throw it in the trash.
What if they clone the Pokemon?
Who would
Clone the
your
Pokemon.
main dude be?
my main dude.
Who's
So like
who's
you know,
powering up the
it,
computer lab?
it's just a computer.
Oh man.
It's a puzzle. It's not a Pokemon. So what I would probably have as a main would be, I think I would have Articuno as my main. Because I just love Articuno.
What?
He came out of nowhere. Out of the three birds, I thought you were going Zapdos.
Okay.
Nope.
This
You know
sounds like
why?
the Elite Four. Like,
You know why though? You know why I would do this?
why?
Because I want to do like a bait and switch. Be like, oh my god, they're all gonna be electric Pokemon, and then you just bring in fucking ground Pokemon and kill them all. No. Each terminal is gonna have its own theme. All right.
Okay.
All right,
The
Oh,
first
yeah.
one's gonna be water, so it's gonna be a lot of fucking Gyarados and Totodiles. That's one, right? Yeah, Totodiles. And then we're gonna have Leaf after that, and then we're gonna have Fire, and then you know what? Just for shits and giggles, we're gonna put some Psychic in there as well. You know, we're gonna have like 7 rooms that you have to go through.
Jesus
I like
this.
Christ. This sounds like the whole game in one.
And each
It's a whole
computer's gonna
Pokemon game.
shit talk you the entire time.
Oh yeah, it's just 4chan.
Oh my god, are you 4chan the gym leader? Holy shit.
Yeah, 4chan the gym leader.
Okay, well, we won't go.
That's
that
his
far.
rap battle name.
Oh my god, this is gonna be its own freaking video at this point. Oh my god, what is happening with this?
And then right when you get to the room, Articuno's gonna fuck your shit up.
Articuno is just gonna straight up just beat your ass.
Oh yeah,
Like jump you, old style.
It's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna have like 3 Pokemon, and it's gonna be all different types. So, and you can't heal by the end of these either. Like you have to get right to the end. There's no healing.
You give them a really hard one before the end. That way they have to use all their heals. And
Exactly.
They have none for the last
exactly.
last
Yeah.
boss.
Because it's
That's
not gonna be
smart.
a Final Fantasy thing where like you fight the boss right before the last boss, and the penultimate boss is the hardest boss, and the last boss is easy. No, it's gonna be the other way around. How it's supposed to be.
Just made the Dark Souls of Pokemon
Jesus
gyms.
Christ.
You know.
Okay, well,
I mean, that's the reason why I play these games.
Well, Harv has really spun a tale of his crazy gym, but we'll go right over to the next. I'm gonna take it to Frank. If you had a gym, what would it be like?
So imagine this, right?
Okay, I'm imagining.
Yeah, you walk over to a dock. You got to get on a boat. You got to start rowing away, right? It starts getting foggy, right? It's an island. It's an
Okay.
island that emulates Purgatory itself, right? And
Okay.
then it is all ghost types, all ghost types. You know
Okay.
what I mean, you just chambers and chambers of ghost types. And the penultimate one you fight is a shiny Gengar, who is a giant white Pokemon. You fight him, and then you meet me. Right, I'm the final person you meet in this place.
But he said McCree. I was like, what?
And I don't have a Pokemon.
Okay.
I don't have a Pokemon. You just fight me,
It's just
and
you.
I pull out a fucking gun. My final boss battle is I'm just gonna fucking get you down.
What?
Yeah.
The Pokemon.
I'm gonna shoot your
Pokemon that-
Pikachu. I'm gonna fucking get your Pikachu down, and then I'm gonna put 2 in your fucking leg, and I'll make your ass roll back to wherever you fucking came from. There ain't no healing potion that's gonna heal you from these bullets, right?
And then the Pokemon that you take, they just become ghosts on the island.
Yeah, exactly. I'm building an army, and your fucking dumb Pikachu, your Max I Pikachu, you're just gonna get a bullet to the fucking body. He's gonna become one of mine. It's literally gonna be a moment where the guy's gonna be like, it's gonna be some fucking dude. He's gonna be like, hey, I'm here. Oh shit, hey, where's the new Pokemon? And I'm just gonna be like, pop, and your Pikachu's just gonna come out of its own body, like right in front of him, and then fight him. That's how I get my final Pokemon right there. I take your Pokemon. Right there, your Max IV bullshit fucking whatever you brought everything with.
Something in this
No, I'm not. I'm gunning Pokemon down, okay? This is a
I feel like you're missing something to the point where like I'm pretty sure if you try to hit a Pokemon with like if not with a gun, but if you try to shoot a Pokemon, there's Pokemon you can't kill.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring, obviously, I'll have different weapons for this.
Like if a Golem comes at you or a Graveler comes at you, you're not gonna be able.
Yeah,
to
you're kind of fucked. Diglett will fuck you up.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure an RPG to a Golem will probably take it out.
I don't know, man. I don't
know. Maybe
You get-
I might have problems with like
He's
the
gotta-
metal Geodude, or, like not the metal Geodude.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is that? Steelix?
Onyx?
I might have a
Oh.
problem with Steelix.
Yeah.
We might need some. We might need some thermite for.
It's a little tough.
Might have to shoot Steelix with some white phosphorus, but we'll.
Oh,
That's a little too much.
Too far.
But
Hold on. Quick question for both Harv and for Frank. What are the badges that you win if you beat?
oh, mine's a straight up bullet casing. If you somehow survive getting your Pokemon shot, then you deserve it.
Mine's gonna be a little SSD. that you can put-
Wait, a floppy? Can we get
Oh,
a floppy?
Floppy disk.
a floppy disk.
I love how much I
One
had to
of
mute
those-
myself. This is too funny.
One of those like 5.5-inch floppy disks.
That's a big disc.
Fuck, man.
I'm about to high noon some fucking Pokemon here.
Oh my god.
This is what you asked for. This is what
Crying.
this is what you asked for.
I wish I had my revolver too. I had a joke. I was thinking about it too. I was gonna like pull it out like the big iron picture.
God. Fee's a ghost.
All right. On that note,
Sly, just start talking about your gym. What's up? What's going on there?
I'm gonna be way more chill than these motherfuckers.
Fee is about as dead as my island is.
I don't know. Mine's pretty chill.
So, I don't know. I want all the cuddly water Pokemons, like
Good.
some,
I'm-
like Vaporeon, like Little Friend, some Oshawotts, super cute. Just like chill compared to these motherfuckers, apparently.
I wouldn't get too close to them, by the way. I mean, you gotta come to my island eventually, right?
Gym leaders, we don't need to.
But I think my final dude would be a Starmie. Just have some water, some psychic. That's my vibe. Mostly cute. What would my badge
Yeah,
be?
what would your badge be?
No
That's I'm curious.
idea. That's a good question. I'll think on it. I'll come back to you. Fee, what would your gym be? And I'll come back with my badge.
I can't even talk right now.
One more
what?
thing to say. I have one more thing to say. When
Yeah,
when you come into my computer lab, I want you to leave as a different person.
Jesus Christ. I hope your gym is actually before my gym, because not only are you gonna get disrespected at Harv's gym, then you're just gonna get straight gunned down in mine. Like it's the perfect wombo combo.
Oh my God.
Anyways, Fee, you're up.
Okay, well, Jesus Christ, guys. It would probably be. I like water types. I've always been like a water type fan, so it'd probably be leaning towards that, but also have some ghosts as well, since I do like Haunter. I'm sorry, I'm all bunch of messed up at this point.
You're fine.
But I also like the idea of having like Smeargle, which is the Pokemon that has a paint on his tail, and he like paints stuff with his tail, so I think that's really cute. So you'd probably see those around. They also just like to mess shit up, so I'd probably have a few of those there. But I think my like main Pokemon, just because of how sassy and like how much he just causes chaos, would be Oshawott. And it's not because I'm a huge otter fan, mind you, but when that Pokemon is pissed, he will throw his little like shell on his chest so hard that he will just take you back to the next century. So I'm a huge fan of that. Also maybe some Alolan like variants of different Pokemon, because they're more like water based, like the Ninetales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would your gym badge be?
That's a good question, and I probably should have known this beforehand.
Go with mine while you're thinking.
Okay.
I think mine would be like, the like hypnosis spiral thingies,
Yes.
like that, but like blue, like wavy ocean. So it's like a mix of like water psychic. I think that would be mine. Just like a hypnosis spiral, but with like waves in it or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
I think mine would probably be like a paintbrush or something, like two paintbrushes across from each other, and probably, honestly, like just because my person, like for me, I just like all of them, so it'd probably be like some sort of like a mixture of all types of Pokemon at my gym, just to like mess people up, and not specifically pulling out a gun on anybody or apparently pulling out a legendary out of my pocket, but. Honestly, it's so difficult for me to come up with like I just want specifically these two. Like it'd probably be like a mix match of like different things. And it depends on the room that you're in. So like there might be like a fire room, a water room, and then you get to like the main boss, which has like a mixture of all of them. Because I'm a huge fan of like Arcanine and some of the like older gens as well.
I like the paintbrush. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Did-
see, like,
did
I
we
don't-
get
I
everybody?
just
Did
wanna
we get all
fucking-
the gyms?
I just want to say, for mine, it's not going to be turn-based either. It's going to be like one-on-one combat and just fucking Like
Just
you
start
don't need a
duking it
Wii
out.
style. Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be like that.
Here's the thing.
Dodge
It's
rolls
gonna
and
be
everything.
Mario, Sly and Eyes is like in a standard Pokemon game, and you two have like the rip-off version that someone decided to make on the internet, and you can find like on a website to download and torrent, and then it's just a real entertaining shit show of a time.
What we have is we have a
humdinger.
game that's my Fee and Mario's, and then there's a mod you get that completely just crashes the game, and then it just turns into Harv and Frank.
Dark Souls meets Pavlov.
All right. On that note, thank you, Spencer, so much for the chaos question. I don't know why I expected anything else from this.
Wow.
It's been a great time. We have been yelling at each other for a while, so I think it's time to wrap this up. So, let's tell everybody where they can find us, what we've been up to, what we're doing, what to look forward to. I'm gonna throw it over to you first, Mario. What's going on?
Right now, just go ahead and keep following me at youtube.com/that Mario Rivera. I will eventually post a video soon. I have to convince Frank to come over and watch Old Boy. We've been delaying way too long. We must make this happen.
Let's do it this week. This week for sure.
And so this week's over.
I mean, this week coming up.
I understand. I'm just kidding. But yeah, follow me there and follow me on Twitter at that Mario Rivera.
Oh yeah, looking forward to that. Frank, besides watching that movie, what are you doing this week?
I'm cat jamming right now. You know what I mean? You gotta do the cat jamming. Just like. Anyway, I'm currently not doing much of anything. Like we said earlier, we're gonna have a tournament coming up soon. So we're gonna be doing that. I'm not streaming this week. Probably not streaming next week. And you can find me here at Point in Progress and at Twitter, where I talk shit about video games.
You can catch Frank on Harv stream sometimes playing Overwatch.
Yeah,
Talking the
chilling with
mad
Harv.
shit.
And Fee. And Fee.
Yeah.
Harv, where can we check out this Overwatch tournament that's going on?
Well, you can watch it live on twitch.tv/beardinthehair. You can follow it. Follow me on Twitter on Twitch. Well, not Twitch. That's not Twitter at all. Twitter.com/beardandthehair as well. I'm Beard and the Hair everywhere except YouTube. That's Beard and the Hair Gaming. But yeah, it's all going to be on my Twitter. It's going to be on my Twitch. This week I'm taking the week off from Within the Beard. They were supposed to be up today, but I took the week off because I started the job this week. But next week I'm recording 2 podcasts next week so that I can double up. Yeah, be caught up and not worry about it for a week just in case. So but other than that, yeah, you can catch me up on Twitch and where I stream 5 days a week over there still.
Damn. I love you. I don't know how you have the amount of energy you do. It's honestly impressive. I just started college again, and so I'm dying. So you can't find me anywhere. You can find, I'll probably have some stuff going on with my studio production class where we're going to be doing some live productions. So I'll let people know when that's happening. But until then, I'm dying in homework. B, where can people find you? What are you up to?
Well, you can find me here. Obviously, you can find me at some points this week because I'm probably going to stream some Overwatch as well over at twitch.tv/Ceranics, and you can be updated at twitter.com/Ceranics. At this point, I'm slightly tempted to change my username and all that other stuff, but that's a whole other story. Also, you can find me over at the Penultimate Conquest. We talked about the last episode of this portion of season 4 of Attack on Titan. Surprise, I'm currently now a part-time person on Speaking of Stadia, where I'm going to be every so often over on that podcast and talking about Stadia with them. They've recently just got signed up with Stadia Source, which is a awesome website that you can find about all sorts of information about Stadia. And apparently now I'm losing my voice because I was crying because I was laughing so hard. But yeah, it's great, awesome stuff. I'm going to be live over there on Monday over on their YouTube channel.
All right, we love to see it. Making all those connections. Fee's the biggest, content creator out of all of us now, apparently.
Yeah, so many
Guesting
podcasts.
on all the shows, visiting all the podcasts, hosting 5 million podcasts. All right,
yeah.
of course, you can find Point in Progress on any podcast platform that we can think of. You can find us on youtube.com/Point in Progress. All of the places, all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, you know what to do. We're on TikTok. I've made a single TikTok for us. If anybody wants to make some TikToks, we're there. Don't expect much. But yes, check us out, connect with us, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord if you want to chat with some amazing people. We got some great people in there. It's been great to keep up with y'all. Thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you for listening. It's been great, and progress has been made.
RIP DMX.
Yeah!
RIP.